We're going to talk about the history and the development of Star's UltraStar compact 9mm with a polymer frame. Now, I just recently picked up an example of this for my Star collection, and it's kind of like one of the last guns Star made before they went out of business in 1997. And I'd like to, it's an interesting gun, but I think we should look at the history and development of all the guns that were developed that came to this final example or model. Okay, and it started all the way back in 1978 with the Model 28. And what I'm going to do is just briefly go through all the different models, okay, and there's like 8 of them, and show you how this company was working along a line and how they came up and developed and designed this handgun here. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this as briefly as I can, a lot of ground to cover, so bear with me. We're going to use my reference book and the photographs in there because unfortunately I don't have the time or the money to accumulate an example of all these pistols to do this, you know, which would be the right way to do it, is show you each gun in progression. And yeah, I am starting my Star series at the end of their production other than at the beginning. I'm sorry, but alright guys, let's get started. Okay, our story starts in 1978 when the United States Army were looking to replace its handgun, and a lot of different companies were submitting examples. So Star decided, hey, let's try to go for the U.S. contract. And what they did is they decided to design a pistol, the M28, that had features of the SIG P210 and the CZ75, and that's where the slide rides inside the frame, kind of giving the gun more stability and accuracy. So that's what they went with. So they designed this gun and they sent it off to the U.S. military. And there were problems right from the start. And it got kind of eliminated pretty quick. What it was doing is light striking, and they had issues. And the way the gun is designed, the hammer mechanism, like you see here in the picture, is a one-piece thing that drops in to the gun. And come to find out, they had a magazine safety. They thought it was that, but it wasn't. This was moving in the frame, which created the problem. So Star tried to sell this pistol. Since it failed getting the U.S. contract and was out of the trials, they tried taking this gun to military and law enforcement and selling this gun. And they had different variations. They had lightweight alloy frames. They shortened the barrel. They did everything. And they tried offering it to military and, well, they tried offering it to law enforcement mainly. And that's why they made versions with a little bit shorter barrel and that lighter frame. But to no avail, Star could not get any contracts. So Star took the list of all the complaints and shortcomings, and they went and decided, well, let's redesign the gun. That's where we came with the Model 30. And basically the Model 30 is the same thing, except they changed slide serrations. They removed the loaded chamber indicator, which is a cost-saving move. And they changed the extractor that doubles as an extractor and a loaded chamber indicator. They recontoured the safety for easier holstering, so they modified the external safety, and they changed the sights a little bit. And basically that's all they did. And again, they tried marketing this gun, and they offered it in all kinds of variations. I think like the PK is an alloy frame. And you will find 28s and 30s that are police surplus out there on the surplus market that have the alloy frame. So there's several variations that they did with this gun. And again, it really didn't sell. They couldn't get large orders from law enforcement or military. So they decided to change it again. And what they did is they came up with the Model 31. Now the biggest thing about the Model 31 is they changed the barrel to a flared barrel. You can see it here. So to give it more accuracy or whatever. And again, there were all kinds of models, lightweight, alloy frames. They even made Target models. They actually tried marketing this as a Target model. And let me see if I can get a better, here we go. Here you see the picture of what it is. They changed a few very minor details I ain't gonna go into, but this flared barrel is what the selling point of the Model 30 was. And again, didn't really take off. And you got to remember, they were targeting the U.S. market also. The civilian U.S. market through Interarms and different importers they had a lot of business. They sold a lot of guns there, other than getting large contracts. And here in this picture, we showed a difference between the M31 and the Firestar. And what it come down to is there was a niche demand for a compact pistol for concealed carry, a smaller gun. And you can see in this photograph the difference of the, we call it a military or service model as compared to the Firestar. Big difference. So that's the next step, was they decided to redesign again, take the basic design, modify it to the smaller package, and that's where we come to the Firestar. So Star realized that commercial sales in the U.S. Was a good market. And they said, okay, we got this gun, we got this design. They kind of scaled it down, redesigned it. Also, Star wasn't really, they were informed. They knew that there was legislation that would ban large capacity magazines. So they designed the gun to be a single stack holding just 9 rounds, okay, because 10 was the limit or something. So they redesigned the gun, made it smaller, made it compact, okay, basically with a steel frame, and come up with this neat gun that fit a niche market, that there was a demand. So once Star got the Firestar developed and got it over there, they found out it was a good seller. Interarms was importing it, and the gun sold very well. And again, this shows you the barrel system, the gun stripped down. This gun fit a niche market. They were selling real good, and everybody was happy with it. So Star went and actually made 2 other models of the Firestar in 40 Smith & Wesson and 45. I think they had problems with the 40. You don't see a lot of them. 45 also. They were popular guns. And again, the only drawback on this was being a metal frame. It was heavy. And Star was trying to get some sort of a lightweight frame. They investigated going with some kind of super alloy out of France, but it was way too expensive to produce the gun. So the main drawback was the weight, and also the fact it only had a single stack limited capacity magazine. Everybody was looking for high capacity. That was the thing back then. So Star knew there was a possibility there would be legislation passed, so they did the next model, took a gamble, and had the Firestar Plus, which the Firestar Plus had the larger magazine capacity, as you see in this photograph here. And also double action, okay? The Firestars were single action, and something about when they shortened the design to modify these guns or redesign them to go into double action was difficult. There was something in the size, and to remodify it or redesign it to double action was problematic. So that was one sticking point. Then again, the weight. But they came up with this, and sure enough, in '94, the United States passed a law, and very few of these got into the country. The Firestar Pluses probably would have been a great seller if they could have worked out the double action thing, because back then that was the rage. High capacity 9mm double action. So also Star threw out another one with our next pistol. The FBI is going to adopt the 10mm pistol cartridge as standard issue for all its agents. There weren't a lot of 10 mils around, and Star seen this as an opportunity to take their gun, and they had the Megastar, which they made this gigantic pistol to fire the 10mm, hoping to ride the wave that the 10mm would become popular, and they would get a product out there that the American consumer would buy because of the price point. And this is a problem Star had. Star, much like Taurus, wanted to keep a price point to be competitive in the U.S. civilian market. Okay, that was their goal. And they did a pretty good job of it. Firestar was one of them. And much like Taurus, some people despised Stars and thought they were bad engineering and piss poor quality. And kind of what it is, they didn't put a lot of development and got products out, and problems would arise. So it kind of got a bad rep, but these guns, they're not bad. You know, again, just like Taurus, you get what you pay for. So now, after this, and I don't really know if the Megastar, you do run across them every now and again on the gun broker, you know, but they are an unusual gun, and not a lot of them around, okay, but they do show up on online auctions. So now it got us to where we're at, the pistol we're talking about now. Okay, so Star said, look, we're going to fix the problem with double action. And how they came about with this particular gun is, if you notice up here at the top, there's a 105, 106, 205, and a 340. Which is the polymer gun, the UltraStar that we're talking about. So what Star did, and also at this point in time, the main engineer and designer retired. The guy that started the project with the 28, he retired. So you had two other guys take up and try to get an idea of a marketable product that can sell and save the company. So they said, let's redesign the whole damn gun. So they came up with a new redesign, okay? And the 105 and 106 were only in prototype forms. And basically it was this pistol here, but they had one had a metal frame with grips, and the other had an aluminum alloy frame with grips. And the problem with the aluminum is they were using a casting as compared to machining, and they always had trouble. It was too bulky, it was too big, and then we had problems with stress and cracking. Steel was way too heavy. The whole idea was lightweight, double action pistol that was concealable and small, right? So those two were done. Then they had a 205, and that's when they said, hey, Glock's popular, let's go with a polymer frame. So they went and experimented. They had no clue how to make a durable polymer frame, and the 205, like, the guns couldn't get a whole magazine out without the frames breaking. So they went back, redesigned it, and I guess the main thing they did is there's a stainless steel, they call it a tub, that runs inside this gun, and when they do the injection molding, like you see where the serial number is here, there's a U-shaped thing that rides in here, and that solved the problem. And they came up with the 304. Okay. And now they were going to market this. I don't know how many people were making polymer guns at this point in time, but Glock was taken off, very controversial, always in the newspaper, very popular. everybody wanted a Glock. So I don't know how many other manufacturers were making polymer frame guns at the time, but Star came out with one that actually held up well and worked. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. I believe they only see the production records. Like in this book, you have serial numbers, production records. The company was in a lot of trouble, a lot of disarray, and it shut down in '97. And the guy did extensive research. He does not have a known set serial numbers or production information on this, but he estimates that only 20,000 of these pistols were made overall, out there. So that's how we got to this gun, okay? And it's a sad thing. Star was in business for a long time, and to say it's their swan song is a development of this gun. And it is an interesting pistol. Of course, nowadays with polymer frame handguns, it's kind of an obsolete and awkward model, but back in the early 90s, that was probably a slick item. And, the book shows you some of the stuff there. All right, that's our history lesson for today. If you guys like the content, please subscribe, hit the like button. Also put down in your comments. I will be doing more of my Star pistols out of my collection. I have some earlier versions in that. Mostly they run along the B and A style, which are more like a clone of the 1911. But I'll start doing some more, and we're going to have a video on just doing an overview of the gun, taking it apart, and then I did go out and shoot it, and so more videos there. All right, guys, thank you.